Hey, Soraya, how's it going?
Woo! It's going well. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. So, thanks for asking. Siri's doing not too shabby either.
Siri is excited about this episode too.
And I've got her on mute, so this is weird. Anyways, I am wearing my 4th of July shirt because we're recording this on July 3rd. It won't post until July 15th. But anyways, your shirt is pretty darn cool.
I am wearing the Muffs shirt, a Muffs shirt.
Is that a coincidence or?
Jeff, usually you and I share a brain cell and we dress alike, talk alike, think alike. Yes. But today we diverge, but we've come together because yes, this is our 4th of July weekend extravaganza show. And we will be talking about a Muffs album that was recently reissued.
Here's the original.
The amazing, beautiful, really, really happy. And we are going to be talking with who, Jeff?
Ronnie?
Well, Ronnie Barnett is one.
Okay.
And?
Roy McDonald.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we'll be talking with Roy and Ronnie today. And we have a very extra special guest host joining us as well. This time, Ronnie gets to be in the hot seat, and our guest host gets to be the one and only Frank Dragotto from the JFJ Conspiracy Podcast.
Yes, and Club Barnett, a show that
Club Barnett and a few others too. Yeah. So thank you for correcting me, Jeff. We got a lot of people, a lot of talking. Because Ronnie's the quiet one and Roy's the talker.
Yeah.
Or is it the other way around?
I don't know. I think they're both.
Let's get started.
Hi, this is Soraya.
And this is Jeff.
Our podcast is called Paisley Stage Raspberry and Rhymes.
A podcast where the two of us play music that we like and share anecdotes and background about the tunes.
We hope you'll join our conversation. And without further ado, a grooviar.
Let's get groovy. Roy, I was wondering if you could help start us off. And Frank, feel free to join in anytime. And thank you for being our co-host.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So really, really happy. Gets released in 2004, 5 years after Alert Today, Alive Tomorrow. And in the liner notes, Roy, you talk about the fact that a lot of bands, when they lose a manager or a label, that's kind of the end of their career and that's the end. But you guys were really good friends. What kept you guys together from falling prey to that normal aspect of bands just crumbling?
Well, we always did a show or something at least once a year. Like we never, we would go do some shows in New York and New Jersey, or we get an offer to fly somewhere and go do a few shows. So, we always, and we were always into doing stuff like that. So even when we took a break, and we took a break after Alert Today, Alive Tomorrow, there was the tour was a little tougher than the previous tours. We're kind of falling out with our manager at that point. It, didn't really work out at that label like we kind of thought it was. So it was a kind of time to take a little break, but we never Ronnie, we never broke up. We were always like, okay, time to take a break. We'll just kind of do our thing. Kim will go back, start writing some songs. And, it just ended up being a longer break, actually, than anything else.
Even though we were like a major label band or whatever, we were always like a working band, and we were always kind of at that. I hate to use the term mid-level, but that kind of level, so we weren't like Sponge or something like where you have like a hit and you're on the major label and you're and then you're expected to have another hit and you don't, and then you break up when you get dropped. So we always kind of, I don't know. We never had a period where we were just kind of like, what do we do next? We just we went from Reprise to, Fat Records, and then just like, okay, that didn't work out. And, we did a tour, and after that, the next year after that, we did a tour that Roy couldn't do. We did the Warp Tour with our friend Jim Waspiza, and so that took up a good chunk of that year. And it's always the Kim writing songs, and like Roy said, we always play it. We would play LA a few times a year, every year, and San Diego and San Francisco and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so people mark time by the record releases, but you know, they don't know that we were maybe in Japan, you know, the next year or whatever. So,
well, that was a testament to just the popularity of the band being able to do those one-off shows here and there during a break like that, because so many times a band doesn't put something out and they're forgotten about.
Yeah, no, true. And we were, you know, our shows were always like, you know, crowded and you know what I mean? We weren't struggling to be in a bottom of a bill somewhere, you know, and knock our heads against the wall. So
no, we always had like a pretty like core fan base that always came out to see us every time we toured.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, that was, you know, a lot of bands don't have that. A lot of those bands that have a hit, you know, like they actually don't have any kind of like fan base under them. They're just kind of, okay, they've got this hit. It was on the charts for a while. People saw the video a lot.
Yeah.
And now no one gives a shit, you know?
Yeah.
Those are the bands that break up.
Yeah. And you guys have a fan base that's worldwide. I mean, we saw that compilation video from Japan, 2 years ago, which is amazing. Like 2-3 hours.
I think it's 4 hours. Like it's in 2 parts. Yeah. That came out of nowhere. Yeah.
That's incredible. So that's really a testament to the fan base of the band. Ronnie, there was something that you wrote in the liner notes that I wanted to touch on, and that's when Kim was putting together these demos that were released this year. Also in an LP version that looks like this, which is pretty cool, record store day release. And thank you, Frank, for picking up this copy for me, because I went to 4 stores and they were all sold out. So thank you, Frank. Yep.
By the way, no one's mentioned it, but that picture is not era appropriate to the demos.
No.
But it's a great cover. Yeah. It's a great little cover.
And it's really, really cool that she has Roy's shirt hanging.
I was going to say, she's also wearing my shirt actually, that's my shirt in the background there. Like, she said, Roy, take that shirt off. Cause that's what I did a lot, taking the shirt off. Yeah.
And the guys go crazy.
I've seen those tits many times. Yes.
So Ronnie,
Soraya.
No. Please, this is family.
I'm talking about male. Yeah, I'm talking about male tits.
It's all good.
Yeah.
So Ronnie, you mentioned the Frankensteining of Roy's drum parts as Kim put together these demos. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I'm curious, were Roy's drums from a previous recording and she isolated the tracks, or Roy, did you record those just for her to have available? How did this whole drum Frankensteining thing happen? Oh, sorry.
I should probably let Roy take that. I mean, this is common now. It's common now, but yeah, then.
Yeah, I mean, we got to a point, with, especially with this album, where we were just, I would go into a studio, I would do the drum tracks to like a scratch guitar with Kim, and then everything else was recorded at Kim's house. Like that's kind of like the way the process worked at this point. So she had all these drum tracks that she could like mess around with, from other songs, and she would like slow them down or edit them and throw a fill, that wasn't in that part of the original song somewhere else. So she would manipulate. So that's what we call a Frankenstein drum, the Frankenstein demo. That's how she started doing it, other than, aside from doing like the drum machine thing that she used to do on so many of her demos. She actually started using my drums.
Wow. And I think, Ronnie, you mentioned also in the liner notes, like how complete the songs sound with that. I mean, when you listen to the demo versions on the CD or the album with Roy's shirt in the background, the demos feel like almost, I mean, they're complete songs and for the most part, very close to what the released version of Really, Really Happy sounds like.
Yeah. Well, like we're kind of saying, like all this is common now, right? People have recording studios in their houses and do whatever, and Frankenstein parts and drums. But back then, I sound like an old man. But back then in the late '90s, no. I remember when we did our last major label record, Happy Birthday to Me. Like Kim bought equipment out of the budget and recorded the vocals at home. And it seemed really radical at the time, like, because we were used to being in these big, you know, recording at Ocean Way, you know, next to Eric Clapton and stuff. And, you know, having Whitfield Crane from Ugly Kid Joe walk past us, you know what, like, so it seemed really like you're going to do the vocals at home yourself with like recording equipment that's in your apartment. Like, you know, it seemed really radical. So by the time we got to really, really happy, you know, looking back on those demos, I can see, because we did Alert today at a real, well, kind of a real studio too. It was a back house, but it was
a back house. That's right.
But it was a big board, and you know, it's same kind of thing. But yeah, but I can see now looking at those demos that it was really a test run for the record. Like that's why, because she never like did. I mean, it sounds almost like besides the drums, you know, no offense, Roy, because they're not real drums. Besides the drums, it sounds like a record, you know, more or less, you know.
Yeah.
So I can see, it was really a test run for the final record. And of course, you know, hearing those demos, not to give credit to me and Roy, but the record does sound like a band, where the demos, you know, don't
sound like demos, right?
Yeah. They sound, yeah. So,
and the beauty of it though, is those demos are very similar. You guys didn't stray from the demos. She brought a complete package pretty much.
Well, she was also like writing for like the trio at that point. Like
right.
She knew that I was going to go ba-da-ba-ba-da-da or something like that. So she would do it. Like, you know,
right.
Like she kind of knew how we played at that point. We'd been around together and playing, you know, for so long that, yeah, there really wasn't much to add. You know, we kind of, you know, we would read each other's minds at some point, you know. So yeah, doing those demos. I mean, that's why it was so easy to do that, you know, when we had to do No Holiday, you know, that was weird sometimes because we were playing to demos where there were my drums from other songs that she demoed. And then I had to actually, that was a weird, that whole situation. But yeah. She kind of wrote the songs with us in mind and what we were going to do. So I think that's why it was so close. The finished product was. Right.
Yeah. And they're pop, you know, she's a pop songwriter. I mean, so we're not throwing in, going back to Neurotica, like that bit in the middle of Pink Piece of Peace. We're not throwing in, we're not throwing in bits like that.
Yeah. We're not like throwing in different time signatures, you know?
Yeah. I got an idea, Kim. No. She obviously, you know, it's a cliche at this point, but she was good at what she did. So yeah, you know, there are little arrangement things we might have, you know, it's not like some of those songs we learned and we're playing, you know, and she did demos of them, you know what I mean? So there might've been, me and Roy would have slight arrangement ideas at times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, and tell her things sounded like other things. And, you know, there were roles in the band, you know what I mean? It wasn't just, here's your orders, guys. And, you know, it's like, I saw some, I don't know, Ted Tillman or somebody talking about how, it was Bob Ezrin, Frank.
Yeah.
He's talking about, look, if I come in and the drummer is not, say, the best drummer in the world, but he's the guy that, like, you know, fills this personality role in the band, like the band's not going to be the same if I replace him, you know? Right. So,
yeah,
you know, again, not giving me and Roy too much credit, but
you do deserve the credit.
Absolutely.
And before I walk all over this interview with questions, Frank, I know you already tossed one question out. Is there anything that you wanted to ask before I asked before you?
Well, no, my other question, because I was exactly right on point with Jeff with the drums, because we were going round and round about, okay, these are samples, but were these complete songs? And I was wondering if, Roy, if you on some of these demos, I remember this particular pattern from this song or a different song, but moving on from that, the studio time, since you guys had pretty much your roles defined, and this particular album, you've got some guest appearances also doing some backing vocals and things like that. Were you in the studio during that time, or was that done after the fact?
No, after, even during Alert Today, Alive Tomorrow, that was kind of when I stopped spending like every minute at the studio. I mean, Blonder and Blonder, Happy Birthday to Me, I was pretty much there, you know, all the time, even long after my parts were done. And at that point, like I'd come in, you know, I would come in to do some percussion things at Kim's house, but no, we recorded my stuff in a studio. And that was probably 2 days, Ronnie. It's been a long time, but it was probably, we probably like, you know, booked a couple of days to do that. I like to do things in like 1 or 2 takes. And we usually, you know, we would practice, you know, to go into the studio to make sure we knew the songs frontward and backward and were tight. So yeah, like we didn't like figure things out in the studio. We were never a band that really figured stuff out in the studio. I read about these bands that like they came in with no songs and just figured, like we never did that. Right. You know, Kim wrote, there was like a pattern. Kim wrote songs. We started rehearsing, you know, learning the songs, and then we started rehearsing them over and over again. And then we'd go into the studio. So yeah, but after that, Kim people would come to her house and do a part. You probably went to her house to do your bass part, right, Ronnie?
Yeah, probably more than once too. I would sometimes have to redo them a couple of times.
Yeah, she was living in an apartment then. Yeah. So we weren't. We didn't have a big amp plugged in or anything. That was the start of all that. I mean, I said this somewhere recently. Being in the studio to me basically meant lunch. You know what I mean? Like me and Roy weren't sitting there being like, you know, Kim, a guitar sounds a little crunchy on that one, or you know what I mean, or like. No. If you look at the pictures of Happy Birthday to Me, like of me, like I'm as big as a house. That's because we were. That's because we were like eating catering every day. And I was broke, so I was driving out there, you know, because the engineer would be like, "Hey, let's go to, you know, where we go to a lot." There was a lot of, I remember during. Oh God. Let's get some tacos. We get a lot of tacos, or Genghis Khan. We'd eat there a lot.
Yes. No. So when you hear about these, you know, $150,000 budget for Happy Birthday to Me, a lot of that, it's food.
As it should be. As it should be.
Yeah.
That pretty much stopped when we left Warner Reprise.
Yeah. So
Ronnie,
it was like going to Paquito Mas for lunch. Pretty much what it became after that.
Ronnie, so did you go direct with your bass, or was it still through an amp and it was mic'd? Or
I must have went direct. I don't really remember, but it had to be. I know I didn't move my SVT to her apartment, and you know, even on the big budget records, like they would mic the amp or whatever, but you'd be going direct too, you know, and it'd often be and sometimes that you'd run the direct through an amp afterwards and stuff like that. And, again, this is all over my head. I talking about hanging around the recording. Kim would complain that we weren't there enough sometimes, but like, she also really wouldn't. I mean, seriously, what are we going to do? Like while they're renting,
we spent most of the time eating and watching TV in the other room. I mean,
we did, and occasionally, you know, smoking pot with Lindsey Buckingham.
Yeah,
that was.
There you go.
Is that all?
And there was stuff like that too.
Yeah.
That's why because you go there thinking like, who am I going to see? You know, like, you know.
Yeah, like, oh, I just passed Sheryl Crow in the hall. Yeah,
with Eric Clapton, you know.
Yeah, now I'm taking a piss next to Jeff Healey. I don't know that
Ronnie, you mentioned in here that you're not the most technically savvy member of the band. So there's
true, as I just alluded to. Yeah. Hey, good thing, or we wouldn't have those demos. Okay.
Yeah.
Soraya, any questions? I have a couple more that I wanted to ask, but before, I didn't want to overstep any of yours.
No. I have a question for a little later.
Okay. So when the album comes out, I've got my original copy here. So this is the 2004, which I think I paid $80 to $100 for this. So thank you, Omnivore, for preventing everybody else from. I think Frank, I think you spent a couple dollars too on.
I spent a few.
Yeah.
There's one at Amoeba last week for 150. I have like 20 of them. Like
Now
if anybody wants
20 of them. Yeah.
Yeah. And the original
yeah.
It's probably gonna sound that good, to be honest.
Yeah. The Omnivore is the way to go at this point. So these look a little different to me. The covers look a little different. I know the original CD had a cover that looked like this. Why these two different covers for Really, Really Happy? Anybody?
That's funny. Ryan and I were just talking about this a couple of days ago.
So does anybody know?
I don't remember
this one, Ronnie.
Yeah. I'll just say it's not. Neither one are our best cover. I don't know. I don't know why we did that. To be honest, I remember the vinyl maybe came out a little bit later because it was on Sympathy did it. Because I'm going to call it an album, meaning the CD, but it came out on a label called 5'2", which our friends Anna Warnker from That Dog and Charlotte Caffey, of course, from the Go-Go's had just started, and
another connection with Red Cross because they're both wives of the other McDonald's, the lesser McDonald's.
Oh yeah, we intersect with a Red Cross our whole career.
So
they had started a label and it had distribution through I'm going to mispronounce this Oglio. So yeah, they didn't. This is 2004, so vinyl was a secondary thing at that time, and so yeah, I don't know. It was probably just something fun. Why not? Why or like I don't know. Maybe Kim liked both.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I don't think there's a clear cut answer. I think it was just probably to make it different. And, why not?
I mean, maybe Long Gone John wanted a different album cover.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we really actually don't know. But I was saying, like, can you imagine, like, because an album cover should be an album cover. You imagine like Led Zeppelin 4. Right. Like, let's take that old man with the bale on his back off. Put a picture of Robert Plant, Put a picture of the band,
Exactly.
We probably should have put the man with the bale on his back on our cover.
I like the joke that Robert Plant says, like, I look like that man with the bale on the.
Second now. Yeah.
And not to get dark, but that cover of the vinyl that's taken at Glendale Cemetery where Kim now rests.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh shit, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kim would love that. You know what I mean? She yeah. So
wow.
Yeah. Anyway,
I forgot about that. All I remember is I really had to go to the bathroom at some point, and I really wanted to go back to Kim's house.
Yeah, you could see it in this shot.
That's the shot. Yeah, because we were done. And like all of a sudden, Kristen said, "Oh, I want to take a picture in front of this colorful background." And at that point, like the diner food that we were eating earlier in the shoot had turned on me. And you could see I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, there's pain on your face.
Yeah, Roy. When Roy has to go, he has to go.
That could be a whole other podcast.
Okay, so Really, Really Happy is number 5 out of 7. As far as your guys' favorite, where does Really, Really Happy sit out of the 7? Have you guys thought about that? Are you pleased with how it came out?
Yeah, I like it better than Alert Today. I think it's an improvement over Alert Today.
Yeah, we always agreed that Happy Birthday is our favorite.
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons, but this one, this was kind of, like Alert Today is kind of forgotten by me to a certain extent. Like until we did this reissue, I hadn't heard it since 2004, and I was really pleasantly surprised, like because it's got 17 songs and like they're all pretty strong. I mean, we did continue to play some of these, but but it's really pretty strong record. So it moved up the ladder for me hearing it again. I do think it's underrated. A lot of our records underrated though.
Yeah.
But
I mean, she had like 5 years of material,
Yeah.
So that's why it's it's a longer record. There's more songs. She had a backlog of material. and it was all killer. So, and we did different stuff that we had never done before, like stuff like Slow. Like we never done a song like that before. Like she was just, we were just in a good place, and she just wanted to do. We were kind of at a point where like we're just going to do whatever we want. If people like it, they like it. If they don't like it, fuck them. So
yeah. And she'd also in that period started writing. Some of these are on the bonus tracks. Started trying to write for like commercials and stuff on her own. Yeah. So I think that really affected the songwriting, like because she was doing different stuff with those songs.
Yeah.
As you hear on the bonus tracks, like the song about the jammies and the one about hating Jim and
I hate Jim.
Yeah, I'm sure some Jim was going to pick that one up for a commercial.
and just the beginning was a Canadian milk commercial, right?
That's right. Okay, because really? I couldn't remember. I remembered it was for something, and it wasn't the one for the Clueless TV show.
It was like for the Canadian Milk Council,
That's right. Oh, and that's a good one. We played that one live quite a few times. We would open with the little song sometimes before we crashed into the real opening. So. Cool. Yeah. No, I think that's why, the songwriting's all varied and stuff. And like, God, too bad Slow has such a bad, it's a bad title. Like it really does a disservice.
Exactly.
Does a disservice to the song.
But, no, we were trying to do like we were kind of trying to do like Motown there. We're trying to do the Supremes almost.
Yeah. That's us being soulful.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So let's talk about the Omnivore release. So, in the hype sticker, the 2004 Ode to Joy, whoever came up with that hype sticker. So Ronnie, do you know if anybody pitched this to Omnivore, or did Omnivore? I would imagine they approached you about doing a reissue, or how did the reissue come about?
No, I mean at this point we're like, even though we're not an active band, we're like an Omnivore band.
Yeah.
So even at this point, it's like, what's next? You know what I mean? So yeah, it just seemed logical. They had done the first three. They would have done the vinyl on the first album, but when we came to do it, we found out that the vinyl rights had been sold to Drastic Plastic, who ended up doing a really good job with that. But we were like, felt like we were Jerry and the Pacemakers, like getting, having these repackages sold. That's our only experience with that. Like, because a major label, they own it. They can do whatever they want. That's why you see these repackages of hits from bands and stuff. So yeah, they did the first three. We wanted to go in order. We wanted to do Alert Today, Live Tomorrow. And it's okay to say this publicly, because like we were talking with Fat Records about doing it, and things seemed to be progressing. And then they just, I hate to use a contemporary term, they just ghosted us all of a sudden, and that coincides with the pandemic starting too, and everything. But Alert Today really needs to be reissued too. But yeah, we want to
do it. I mean, and we'll do it. We don't, if Fat Mike wants to keep it on Fat, that's fine. I just want to do it. I think, it's weird not having it now that we've done this one. It's weird having, not having that one.
That's another one. I think I dropped $80 to $100 on the vinyl. I think Frank, you're in the same boat.
Same part. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it goes. I mean, that's what it goes for. It's rare. It's it's out of print.
Which
sucks.
That was me looking a couple years to get it to 2 digits rather than 3. So.
Unless it gets reissued. Yeah. At this point, it's not going to probably go down in value, but so we just moved on to really, really happy. That's really all there is to that. Yeah.
Alert Today, Live Tomorrow. Do we think that could get a reissue? I mean, it sounds like the band wants that.
I hope so. I mean, just so that we can have like the bonus track of Silly People with CC DeVille, like on the album proper, like.
Yes, it's one of our finest moments.
It is.
We did that for a movie that never came out. So, I mean, it's only on.
Right.
I know it's on Hamburger. Did it make Caboodle? I want to say it probably did.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But it should be like, as part of like, the bonus track. You know, it should be the bonus track on the reissue.
Yeah, hearing our song with a, you know, a butt rock. I don't know if this term's correct anymore. With a butt rock solo like that by CC DeVille.
He was great.
He was fantastic, and he went and got us like refreshments from the store, and he was telling us stories and just self-deprecating. You know, he'd be like, I don't know what happened. I had the right influences. You know, New York Dolls, somewhere from the turntable to me, came out like that. You know, it was like, you know, we should have spent more time writing songs and putting on makeup. You know, I don't know what happened. Like,
no. It was like spending time with Mel Brooks. I mean, he was just like constantly on, super funny. You know, I mean, it was not what we expected.
Right.
And then he came to some shows afterwards, and then he formed his own band called Samantha 7, which is a little muffsy. Let's face it. There's even a one song. It's like a direct lift, if you will.
Complete departure from the Poison days. Yeah.
So you were there for his session. It sounds like.
Oh yeah. No. Oh, we were going to be there for that. Yeah, me and Ron
yeah, that's really what I remember. Just hanging out with him.
Yeah. But yeah, we had the song recorded already. So he just overdubbed, I think. Or no, actually he did record. I like in this great interview, you guys, like we have like fuzzy memories and recording and stuff.
Hearsay from directly from.
Yeah, I guess we did re-record the song because it is different than the Alert Today version. And he had to sit around and wait on us somewhat. So yeah. Anyway, getting back to the point. Yeah, we need to
getting back to this record.
No, we need to reissue Alert Today so we can get stuff like that and have it do the. You know, Omnivore has been great to us. They sound good and they look good and
fantastic.
You know, I'm into all that. There's nothing worse. There's nothing that makes me madder than like graphics that look like shit, you know.
On reissues even where they have an opportunity to make it look good, right? So
that and just lazy like layouts where they just put like 4 things on a page, like just
slap it together.
Anyway, yeah, you can tell.
Slap together. So Omnivore. Yeah.
So here's a question for all of us, all 5 of us. And at one point we were talking about playing songs during the interview and breaking it up a little bit, but we won't do that. Well, I'll edit those in later. One of my personal favorites from the album is How I Pass the Time. I think it's just a fantastic song and very catchy. How about do you guys have favorite songs from the track? I know, Ronnie, you said that this is kind of one of those albums that you kind of forgot about in the pantheon of your discography. Do you guys have any tracks that your favorite, Roy? Do you have a favorite track or 2 from Really, Really Happy?
Yeah. I mean, I've always been, I was always partial to And I Go Pow just because I thought it was a really good groove and it really reminded me almost like of a Rubber Soul kind of vibe to it. And then I like The Story of Me.
Oh.
I hate the time. Maybe I'm tired of losing my mind. I'm going up and coming down, and I'm feeling crazy.
She's such a good songwriter. Yeah. God. Yeah. Like just that song, just the way, just the melody, just the whole thing, the arrangement, you know, just spot on.
Great closing track. Like that's a great way to close out.
Great closing track.
No, that song is pretty incredible. My favorite has always been My Lucky Day.
Yes.
Run away to a place I love where I hide away from you and your face telling me that you know me better. I even talked the band into playing that live a couple of times. I used to love doing that just bass with the vocal thing towards the end live.
showing off my timing, my good timing.
Ah.
And then, I love Little Luxury. We played that live quite a bit. We should also talk. We there's little in jokes we had with each other about some of these songs. Like there's a song we used to call Wrecking Ball. Which one is that, Roy? Because I misheard it as Wrecking Ball.
That's By My Side.
By My Side.
So that had nothing to do with Miley Cyrus at the time, right? Pre-Miley
We've
Cyrus.
done a lot of Muff songs, and Tim's written a lot of songs, and after a while, especially ones that we don't do live, you kind of forget about them. At one time, Ryan and I were talking about By My Side, and Ronnie was like, By My Side? What was By My Side? I was like, Wrecking Ball. Oh, Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, that's how it's remembered.
Yeah, and there's a really sweet thing between me and Kim on one of these songs, which I can tell everyone. It's on My Awful Dream. I always heard the beginning of the second verse is boy meets girl in Austin.
Boy meets girl in Austin. They do not agree, but they go ahead and marry.
Because that's basically where me and Kim met. So we would do that live sometimes, and Kim would sing it like that and look over at me. And
Cool.
we would always we would share moments on stage between the three of us like that all the time. Usually it was Roy looking mad because me and Kim would be ready to start a song.
No, that's true. Because we'd sit there and go over the set list at that point, because we're all getting a little older. I'm like, I need a break after this third really fast song. So could we do a slower one or a mid tempo or even I Need You, just because I can just it's not an endurance test. And then we get to a point where the momentum's coming and Kim will just go we're gonna do this one next. Gasping for breath and 1, 2, 3, 4.
Or we would throw a song out off the list, and that's what would happen. And then Roy,
that was his
throw the slow
mad
song out. Oh,
and then he got the mad look and go.
Hey, Roy, after all these years since you last played live on a regular basis, say touring and everything, how are your arms and shoulders? Because you were a wild man.
Probably. I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't really played, and I haven't really played real. I mean, I've got some shitty electronic drum set that I try to play on, but it's not the same. And It's not even, you can't do anything. But probably the last time I really, really played was when Ronnie, you, me, Jeff, and Steve rehearsed for the Kim tribute band thing, and which literally was canceled the next day, I think. Yeah. And I think that was the last time I actually played with anybody.
But no long-lasting effects from all that crazy.
No. My aches and pains are in different places.
There you go.
So Roy, you are a beast on the drums. You're absolutely one of my favorite drummers to watch of all time. Your performances on stage are insane. So you guys are always great to see, and you could see that chemistry between the three of you. There was something special beyond it being a band. And Ronnie, you've talked about this. It's you guys are a family. I mean, you always will be. You always were, and that definitely would come across on stage in your performance. It was fabulous to watch. But I'm glad you brought up the Kim tribute, because that was my last question. That Kim tribute show had the two of you listed, and I was curious what the plans were. So COVID came and kind of ruined that tribute. There was 10 bands that were lined up to pay tribute to Kim after her passing, and you guys were listed on the flyers as one of the acts. What was the plan? What were you guys planning on doing?
Hologram.
Wow.
Paging Wendy Dio.
Well, besides the playing part, me and Roy were going to host the whole thing. We were going to be like Shecky Green and
Yeah.
you know,
Ronan Martin.
red buttons. Yeah.
So what you were gonna play? So were you planning on playing Muff songs, and who was gonna sing, play guitar? If
Yeah, we
that
can.
was the case,
We can say this now. Yeah. So again, sorry if I'm talking over you, Roy. We were.
No. Go ahead.
Yeah, me and Roy were going to play with Jeff and Steve. Jeff and Steve were going to both play guitar. We were going to do Honeymoon with Anna Warnker singing.
See, that I don't quite remember, which is why I was fine letting you do this.
Yeah. I'm drawing a blank. We were going to do Big Mouth, maybe?
Big Mouth. Yeah, we rehearsed Big Mouth.
Yeah. Big Mouth, I think, with Steve singing.
wow.
Funny Face.
Funny Face. Really?
Wasn't Veruca Salt going to do Funny Face?
Us?
Or was that going to be on their own?
I like this. Me and Roy can tell you all about like chili whack or something, some bullshit.
Yeah.
Want to make it
No,
feel good.
exactly.
When it comes to our own career, yeah.
This is like the most recent part of our career we're talking about. I can quote.
Yeah.
I can quote dialogue from Gilligan's Island, and I can't remember this.
Yeah. I know. We were gonna close with "I Need You," and Melanie was
Yeah.
gonna play with us, and maybe Jeff was gonna sing
Yeah.
that. We had another guest singer, and I can't believe I'm forgetting. Besides Anna,
Crazy.
So it wasn't Charlotte.
it was going to be
No.
4 songs. It was going to be 4 songs, though.
So Kim, at this
I'd have to look back at emails because that's where it probably
Yeah.
lives.
We sounded good. I can say
It
that.
sounded good. Yeah. It was really good.
Like I had to cut a trip short and everything because Steve was insisting on doing this major rehearsal, and he blocked like 4 hours, and it's like we did 30 minutes. It's like, we sound pretty good already. Let's go get some donuts. I mean, it's true. That's what we did. Like,
That's what we did. Yeah.
yeah.
So at this point, is the Kim tribute show dead in the water? I know for the longest time it was being postponed, or we were going to wait and maybe get announced that there was going to be a new date. But at this point, can we say that it's, as for now, there's no plans for it to happen?
Yeah. I mean, you never say never, but I mean,
There's nothing immediate.
No. And as time, again, I don't want to say
Okay.
definitely no.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we got, after things started opening up a little bit, the people who were trying to put it together, sent an email out, and I was like, yeah, sure, but, and then we haven't heard anything since, and it's, still a little funky out there. And
Yep.
The way live music is, it's just so much, it's just changed. It's not the same, and never will be. I mean, I hate to say that, but so, I mean, I think that's part of it as well. But no, never say never. I mean,
Speaking of nothing being the same, Ronnie, you've expressed that you don't think of yourself as a bass player. You thought of yourself as a member of the Muffs. So now that the Muffs are not a band anymore, you don't intend to join another band or anything like that. Roy, are you kind of in the same boat, or can you see yourself joining like an Oingo Boingo tribute band or something?
I would see myself more playing with people that I've already played with before. I mean, I couldn't start and even that, it's just, the Muffs were, our band. It's just, it's hard to express it sometimes because I've been in other bands. I've been in Red Cross and everything, but the Muffs have a little different place in my life. It's just, that's my, that's our band. So I see myself playing. Yeah, I'd love to play. I played before the Muffs. I played in a bunch, but it's never going to be the same. And I don't think I could ever just like start this over again. No. Yeah. So kind of yes and no. I can see myself in bits and pieces here and there doing some things, but no, not like the Muffs. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. I'm thinking about managing Roy and getting in touch with the Foo Fighters. So
yeah, that kind. Yeah,
I need to. Yeah,
I could actually see Roy playing with Foo Fighters. I can actually.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
No, I could too.
Yeah,
I can't.
He'd have to work himself back into shape, but yeah.
Oh wow.
3-hour shows.
Oh yeah. Well, there's that too, and that you know.
Anyway, I need to manage so I can have a piece of the pie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh boy.
All right. So Frank, did you have a favorite?
Yeah, I do. My favorite on this album is "Don't Pick on Me."
I'm not too big now, but rather you are. Your big mouth is going too far, but I don't care just who you be. Don't pick on me.
And it's the different chord progressions and the outro with the vocals and the guest vocals and everything. I always picture this song. It could fit on Abbey Road somewhere. It's that type of song to me. The lyrics.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, really? It is such a good song, complete package. But today, that is my favorite song on the album.
Nice.
Tomorrow, it is going to change.
we should talk about the video for "Don't Pick on Me." It's our best video.
Great, great video. And I would say, probably our best video.
Yeah, and we're not technically in it. Well, I mean, our cartoon selves are in it, but so anybody, if there's anybody listening to this, check out the "Don't Pick on Me" video because it's
and also
amazing.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? And there's a Freddy Krueger reference in that song. Because
No, it's Freddy and the Dreamers.
okay, because she says, "I'll stick you just like Freddy." I'm like,
Oh yeah.
No,
perfect.
Freddy. Anytime Kim's talking about references Freddy, Ronnie and I know who she's talking about.
Perfect. Thank you.
True. And just like Ethel, my love, it's about Ethel Mertz.
Yeah.
Like there's a line about being your Fred boy or something.
Yeah.
Fred and Ethel. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Does her husband Kevin sing backup on Really Really Happy?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so. Kevin,
No.
probably. You sure it's not hand claps or something, or
Maybe.
or some background?
Maybe hoops and hollers, you know?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah, hoops and hollers. It's probably that kind of.
And Brian Kehoe also is a guest as the organist. He brings his organ to the show.
Yes, he does. He packs a mighty one. Yeah, Brian's an old friend of ours. Still a dear friend, and yeah, there's always a little bit of, or don't take this the wrong way. There's always a little bit of organ on our record.
There's always a little organ.
Leave it to Ronnie.
Yeah.
Is it always a little organ?
That's why I have to clarify. There's always,
Just a
there's
little
always
organ.
a song or two. Yeah, with some organ. It's true. Is this the one where I think this is the album where I play a little toy piano on it?
Yes,
too.
it is. It is.
Yeah.
So whose
There's a
idea was that? Did you bring that idea?
No, that was Kim and Roy. Do you know what song that's on? I don't know what song that's on.
I don't think I was there when you did that.
No, you weren't there. Yeah, just one of those things. Kim had a toy piano and heard a toy piano part on the whatever song it is.
And she asked you.
There's a lot of songs on that record. That would have been a
It's
double
true.
album. Had it original. Well, no, I guess not because it did come out in vinyl. How do we pack all that? That's like taking liberties.
So I think most of the songs are under 3 minutes, if I'm not mistaken.
Most of our songs are under 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Though it's a long. I mean, time wise, it's 43 minutes or something. Like it's
Yeah.
which is that's a long album for. That's like Tarkus or something for us. That's it.
My lucky day is 303, and I think The Story of Me, 309. The Whole World,
Okay.
324. Everything else is in the 2-minute range. So
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm way into timings.
Soraya,
I am. Whenever we made a record, I was always on top of that.
There are like a handful of our songs that are like over 4 minutes, like maybe a couple, and we're always like, oh man, we're going to the yes territory here.
Epic. Yeah. Soraya, did you have a favorite or a couple favorites?
I've got a couple of them. So My Lucky Day and My Awful Dream.
Oh.
Mm,
So
nice.
we're spread out all over the place. So that tells how strong this record really is. So
Yeah.
so many.
I like that.
favorites. So Soraya, earlier you mentioned that you had something later that you wanted to ask.
Yeah, well, two of my questions got answered, thankfully, because of the flow of the conversation. So thank you, Roy. Thank you, Ronnie. But I have one last one. So in a recent interview with the LA Weekly, you mentioned that you think there's not much in terms of leftover tracks or things that we haven't heard yet. And it just piqued my interest because, Roy, you mentioned when putting this album together in particular that Kim had like 5 years worth of material. Are we sure that there's not much left in the archive? Have we really kind of heard or gotten most of the surprises that we would get?
You know, Kim always she pretty much shared everything that she was doing with us because we were kind of like, we were her sounding board. So, I mean, she might have some treasure trove that she was not sharing with us, but she kind of always, I wrote a new song, tell me what you think. I just wrote it. I'm going to record it right now. And she'd email it to us. And, if it took a couple of days for us to get back, she'd be like, they don't like it. So I don't know. I mean, there might be stuff that she was like, this isn't up to snuff. I'm not, but I don't even know if those would have even gotten to the recording stage,
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's probably, I'm sure there's like bits because she's a songwriter, right? So, as far as things like that she would have considered ready to name a soul band, Ready for the World. Probably there's probably not a lot. To put in perspective, like on No Holiday, there's a song that's like a song that she wrote before our first album.
Yeah.
On my own. So, she was still revisiting songs from way back then. I can tell you there are songs like from that pre-Muffs period that have never come out, but there's probably a reason, quality, right? Just, you know what I mean? It's not up to, there's a high bar now, like with Muffs songs. Figure it out. Yeah. There are some. There are ones that we would joke about.
They're recorded though. Like they're just,
Yeah.
5 years before this album came out. 10 years after Really, Really Happy, Whoop-De-Doo comes out. So there's this large break after this comes out. So same kind of thing. You guys lay low, rest, do some shows. I know you guys always did shows, like you mentioned, in between two albums.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like we went to Europe during that period, didn't we?
Yeah, well, we did. First off, within that 10 years, there was a 3.5 year break.
Yeah.
Which was not planned. It was just kind of like, I think after a dozen years of pretty much continuous work, we just, I don't know, naturally just a break happened and it occurred and we caught up on our lives and everything else. But we always stayed in touch. It was never like, we weren't like, we're breaking up or we're going to take 3 years off. Like it just happened. And then what happened, well, Kim would always talk about these dinners we started having, which we did. We started going to Roy's down in Long Beach and getting together. We started assembling. And then what happened is we got an offer to go to Spain. And we hadn't been to Spain since 95. And so we're like, yeah, let's go to Spain. So then after that, we went to Japan and then we went to, then we started going to New York again and stuff. And, and then also in that little 10-year period, we made the record. Then the record sat around and Kim was in the Pixies it seems like Kim was only in the Pixies for like 4 months, but she was in the band almost a year. Like they didn't announce it for 6 months after that. So all that happens. And then you're finding, we had to find a label, which we won't mention, that it came out on. We you know, there's setup. So all that stuff takes a bit of time. So
yeah,
before you
I was
know
running
it,
around with Red Cross at that point too.
True.
You know, there was that, like, you know, and it was never like, you know, I mean, we all stayed in contact during that whole thing, and it was like, yeah, go ahead. And we were very much like, yeah, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and, you know, make the Red Cross record. When Kim was like, well, the Pixies, like, because when she joined the Pixies, like, that album was done already. Whoop-de-doo was done. We had like, it wasn't on a label yet, but, or was it? It was, we were talking to Burger at the time. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, we were talking to them, but I don't know, but it hadn't, you know, but the record was done. And then she was like, well, you know, what are we going to, you know, and I was like, no, go join the Pixies. This is great, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we had a band meeting.
We were like, we've waited this long. Like, it's been like, at that point, it had been like, you know, 8 years or something, 9 years. Yeah. So we were like,
yeah, and Kim told Roy before me, because they know I have a hard time keeping a secret. And
No.
and so yeah, I know, believe it or not.
It's true.
So we had this.
I would be like telling Kim, you really should tell Ronnie. Like, I hate, you know, because she was like, don't tell Ronnie. I was like, okay, like.
Yeah. So we had this band meeting at Kim's house. It's about the record, and like Kim starts it off. She's like, okay, so I'm in the Pixies. So what's going to happen? And I'm like, wait, what? She's like, yeah, I'm in the Pixies. So anyway, I'm going to be, I'm like, what the, huh? Yeah, like, that was out of nowhere for me. But no, but the meeting was like, look, we're going to put off the record. I'm going to do this tour with the Pixies through the end of the year. And then we put out the record. Meantime, if Kim had stayed in the Pixies, who knows when the record would have come out? Because like they gave her dates for like a whole nother year of touring, which obviously they decided to do something else. But
Ronnie and I were having private conversations, like even like before they'd gone on tour, like going, what are the odds on this lasting? You know, like
yeah.
Well,
there's like, you know, there's going to be some personality clashes. We kind of were foreseeing, like, you know, like,
yeah,
it didn't surprise us.
No. And Kim figured out pretty quick, like, you know, you were talking about this family thing. I mean, even though in the Pixies, she's flying first class and staying at 5-star hotels, like, the camaraderie just was not there. And she was not having much fun on the tour. She would tell us I've talked about this before. There's a video where she did a posting of herself on the way to the airport in a vehicle with the Pixies, and it's like a minute of just silence. Like she's got the camera turned on. This is me holding up a phone. Yeah, she's got the camera turned on herself, and it's just silence. And I remember commenting like, "Wow, it's never like that in our vehicle."
It was never that in our van, except when we were like when we were all talked out, and we were just like, "Okay, we're gonna read now," and then we'd read a little bit, listen to music, and then we start talking again. You know, as we get closer to the city, you'd start talking again. It was we had patterns. I always remember of like travel, but yeah, it just seemed like a morgue in their van. She was not happy. She's a front person. She's like the center of attention when she steps on stage. I think that's something that the other band members probably could not handle.
Yeah, no, that ultimately is what led to her demise in that band. Yeah, really. I mean, but that said, she was really good in the band. They were great. She sounded great. Her backing vocals were. I remember they did a warm-up show at the Echo, and were you at that one, Roy? I don't think you were.
No. I think that was the one I was at.
Okay,
that was the one I went to, and I remember like I had the same feeling when I was watching her in the Pixies that I did the first time I saw her in the Pandoras at Fender's Ballroom. You know, in 85 or 86, just thinking, wow, she's like, got it. You know?
Yeah. No, first or second song was Bone Machine, and she came in with that harmony vocal in the chorus, and I got the chills. I get the chills thinking about it right now. She was good in the band, and she did have fun on stage, but the offstage stuff, maybe not so much.
Ronnie, and I like how you've shared, contrary to what you read in print or online, that Frank Black, whatever we want to call him, that he really enjoyed having her in the band.
Yeah, she was his pick, and he was her champion in the band, even while the other members were not happy with her on the tour. So it was the other members who got her out of the band. And you can see for people taking notes at home, there's a great clip. They did dates together before they announced Kim was in the Pixies, solo dates. So there's a clip at the Coach House where Kim's opening solo for Black Francis. And at the end, they would do Winter Long by Neil Young together.
Wow.
And they do it off mic, and they're looking at each other doing it. And it's really beautiful. Like, it's really, Kim could really sing. Kim loved to sing harmonies, and she was really, really good at it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a really beautiful clip. So
nice. And Roy, you were mentioning playing with Red Cross. Researching the Blues is my favorite Red Cross album. I know I'm in the minority there, but I absolutely love it.
It's my favorite Red Cross album too. And I'm not saying that because
you're on
my second favorite Red Cross record is Show World that I'm not on. So like
that album's fantastic. Yeah.
Ronnie's favorite's probably Neurotica.
Oh yeah. Definitely. I like them all.
Yeah, I'm in that boat.
That was Kim's favorite record, Red Cross record too. Researching the Blues. She's a huge fan.
Is that right?
That record. Yeah.
There's some great pop melodies in behind that power. It has a lot of power too. So it's that record's fantastic. Well, we wanted to thank both of you for coming on. It's really cool to have both of you, and it's really cool to have these all. So thank you, Omnivore. So the 2 CD set, and then you had to get 2 vinyl if you wanted it on vinyl. So any thought of this ever being like a gatefold 2 LP thing, or was it the thought always to do it?
Not at this. There's enough configurations of it at this point, right? Like,
I mean, originally, but before breaking it up into 2, was there ever?
No, I think always it was they targeted it for a record store day release, which we were really into because we never had one.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. No, it was like, oh, we can do this like this, and then have because the actual record is in 2 different formats for those, again, keeping score at home. There's the black vinyl, and then there's the maroon vinyl with the bonus 7-inch with the bonus tracks on the 7-inch. So.
Oh yeah. Thank you for mentioning that, Ronnie. There is a very fantastic
and stamped by Ronnie Barnett.
That's right.
A lot of work.
I didn't know I was going to do them all when I went there, but I did them all.
Yeah. So very cool. And then
nice.
You mentioned the colored vinyl. I just wanted to show that off. So
there it is, Roy. I still have Roy's copies of that particular.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So when I go out and get a copy of Neurotica, I'll go pick that up.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Very cool. Any last thoughts about Really, Really Happy or the reissue before we let you both go? It sounds like you're both happy that it did get reissued. And for the Muffs fans out there, like us 3, you don't have to pay like Frank and I did for vinyl and pay triple digits now. So thank you, Omnivore. So any last thoughts, Roy, about Really, Really Happy or the reissue?
No, I'm really proud of this record. It was, like I said, I think paraphrasing what I said on the record, it's kind of the record where we all kind of realized at this point, like, we're a band, we're always going to be a band. We're always going to be able to put out records. Cause that was really like, that's why it took 5 years just trying to figure out who's going to put the record out, for us. So we've kind of got, it just kind of solidified us as a band, and I love all the songs on it. And now Ronnie and I have to figure out what we're going to do next with Omnivore.
Yeah. Well, it really solidified us, like Roy said, as a band. And that's when we started doing things on our own too. Like, that's when we stopped having a manager and all that kind of stuff. And, during the years where we had a manager, we let the manager do everything, to our, for better or worse. And it was often worse. So, this is where we figured out we don't need a manager, and we can find someone, we can make a record on our own. We can put it out. We can tour. We can, I'm just happy. The record's getting another life, because it does deserve attention. And look at all those songs
Wow.
I love the 2 CD one. Yeah, for that reason. I mean, just to have a deluxe digipack with all those songs. I mean, it just blows me away looking at it still.
Yeah.
So
if Omnivore gets desperate and has any needs any ideas, I'm all for a Muffs complete box set CD, like Neighbors or the Police or my ELO box set. What about a Muffs CD box set with everything in there? I mean, there might be rights because every album you're on a different label besides the 2 Reprise records, but or the three Warner Reprise records.
Well, the Warner ones were easy at the time. I know we're wrapping up here, but Omnivore was distributed by Warner Brothers at the time those came out, and so it was easy to license. That's why those they wouldn't have happened otherwise. So, now they're distributed by Sony. So, but
Ronnie and I still have to look into the archives and see if there's anything else, like any live stuff, for instance, that might be workable.
Also, Caboodle, which is the legal version of Hamburger.
That's right.
Hamburger was illegal. Hamburger has songs on it that we didn't have the rights to, but it came out. I'm glad it exists. But that's why there's some songs that are not on Caboodle that are on Hamburger. Things like Kids in America and stuff. So Caboodle's never been on vinyl. So just saying.
Oh,
yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah. There's still some stuff to do, but to your point, Jeff, yes, complete box set. Love it.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Love it.
I'll just throw the idea out there. We'll see.
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right, Soraya, you have that really cool shirt. So I think you bought it officially. You want to talk about?
Oh, nice.
You want to talk about the Muffs merchandise? Where to go for that, Soraya? Can you talk about where you got that?
Give me a minute.
Fulfillment merch.
Fulfillment merch. Yeah, fulfillment merchandise.
There you go.
Took me a second too, but yes, fulfillment merchandise. You can buy shirts, you can buy vinyl, CDs. I think they pretty much have everything. There's still, we still have those stop and go shirts. I think there's a blonder and blonder shirt still available. So go buy some merch.
And you guys will see a little bit of that if things are purchased through fulfillment merch.
It kind of pays for itself, more or less. Put it that way.
Okay. All right. But it's official. That's
Go buy it anyway.
Official, yeah.
Okay. No, yeah, true. Because there are all those. I don't understand these legal bootleg companies that just like Redbubble and stuff. Like, I don't know how they do it. Like, I don't.
Order.
They're made to order. They have the graphic. You get on like a shower curtain or like a throw pillow or whatever. Like, I don't know how they're not. I don't know how that's legal.
There's a good Alert Today Alive Tomorrow one that's actually a button down. That's like literally the middle of Kim's face is where the buttons are. I've seen amazing.
Yeah. Oh, there's some.
Or it's like it's a hood. It's a zip up hoodie. So her face is like literally.
Yeah. I'll post stuff like that. And Jeff McDonald is always like, you should be collecting this stuff. And he's got a good point. Yeah.
Very cool.
So,
all right,
you guys. Do a book of Muffs artwork.
Yeah.
There you go.
Some fan art.
Some good fan art.
And there's a lot of that. There really is a lot of great fan art that I've seen on the pages. So
we should have a coffee table book, right? Actually, now you mention it.
Yeah, we
not just a fan art, but of like just everything.
Yeah.
And a documentary too.
Yeah,
we've been talking about that, but that's all we've been doing.
One day I'll finish this book I've been threatening to write for 15 years.
We have footage. We started a kind of a documentary. So there's like when Kim was around, and there's interview footage, and so there's like, unfinished stuff out there that we could probably, cobble together.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's good. I remember Kim didn't like the angle. He filmed her driving like from the side, and Kim didn't like the angle. So that kind of, I don't want to say it killed the project, but it put a damper on things.
So I guess the plan was the next time for him to run outside outside the car, filming from the outside of the car rather than in the passenger seat. So
on the hood. On the hood.
Yeah, looking in straight ahead. Yep.
Yeah.
Kim pretty much had full creative control over every aspect at that point. Like once we disengaged from Warner Brothers, like she was like, so if she didn't like an angle, that was not going to be in it. Me and Roy
learned real quick, like just let her pick the album cover. Or it would sometimes go on for a while. Roy would be like, I don't care if the thing comes out in a brown fucking paper bag. Like, at this point. Yeah.
And then we didn't mention that she produced all the records after that, including Really, Really Happy. So produced by
I mean, that started. Look, even on the first Muffs record, it says co-produced by the Muffs. I mean, that's Kim. That first album's produced by our two A&R guys and Kim, and then the band gets a production credit on Happy Birthday to Me, but that's Kim. Ronnie and I went ate and watched TV during that whole recording. Yeah.
And it needs to be said, Really, Really Happy is so crystal clear. It is a great sounding record. Mm-hmm. She did an awesome job on that with it.
Well, that was the other thing is like, we always were limited to like, like I think kind of starting with this, like Kim was able to take her time. There was no stress to finish the record. It was like, and that was, just for her, she could just tinker around at her house and work on it forever. Yeah. Whereas when you're in a studio where there's a lot of, when you're paying for time, you got to finish, there's a deadline. Right. So it was that's another thing, like just it allowed her to relax and just go at her own pace.
So it's aptly named Really, Really Happy. Yeah. She was happy. We were all happy.
Yeah.
And
we're all generally happy. Anyway,
I will end by saying I definitely had to refrain from using Really, Really Happy about you guys coming on the show. So I was going to say I'm super, super excited, but it took a lot to refrain from saying Really, Really Happy. But I'm proud of myself. But thank you guys so much for coming on. It was a blast having you guys. It was always fun to watch you guys on stage together and how you guys interacted with each other as well as with Kim. And it's just great to hear you two not remembering as much as I had hoped you would remember.
Yeah.
No. Hey, people should have me and Roy together on these things more often.
Yeah.
All right, Soraya, take us home.
All right. Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you, Roy. Thank you, Frank. This has been amazing, and I can't wait for part 2.
Yeah.
Right.
Thanks,
you guys.
When the CD box set comes out of all the Muffs records.
There we go.
Yeah. This could be a bonus album, just the audio from this.
All right, you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
This is the part where they talk about us, Roy, when we go away.
Yeah, I know. What a couple of assholes.
Yeah. That was tough. Yeah.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Roy. Bye. Thanks. Bye, Ronnie.
See you, Roy.
Yeah, Ronnie.
Oh.
Well, Frank, we're glad that you were on board because I don't know if the two of us could have handled this much fun.
Oh my God, Frank! Thank goodness you were here. Wow.
I appreciate you guys asking me along for the ride. That was a lot of fun. I think you got more than you bargained for, though. I think. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to ask the two of you. So, Jeff, you never said what your favorite tracks off of Really, Really Happy are.
Oh yeah. I started at How I Passed the Time. Yeah, that's mine. So, I mean, it's really hard to pick from these because there's so many great songs like they've mentioned, and 17 tracks on a regular album. And like we mentioned, a lot of them are 2 to 3 minutes, mostly in the 2-minute range. But listening to these demo versions, it was just amazing to hear. I mean, they're almost like complete tracks. But as Ronnie mentioned, when you add in the bass and you add in the drums and just the fullness that what they took from those demos of like, and Frank, you mentioned like they didn't deviate a whole lot from Kim's ideas, but it just becomes really full and it develops into that Muffs sound. And it was really cool to hear Roy say that Kim was so familiar with them and what they would do and what she would anticipate that they would do, that she was able to put these together with that in mind, knowing how these two, this amazing rhythm section. I mean, this band was incredible. I mean, just the family dynamic of them and the closeness, but just how tight they were, and seeing them on stage was just fantastic. And honestly, Roy is one of my favorite drummers of all time, and Ronnie's one of my favorite people of all time. I mean, the guy is amazing. And if he wasn't slacking, sleeping on stage like he would be known to do once in a while, he was a fantastic performer. And the banter that they would have, and the connection that the three of them would have, specifically Kim and Ronnie on stage, was just fantastic. And this album is killer. And I'm so thankful to Omnivore for putting this out. But wish they would have did that before I dropped those $80 to $90 that I did. But it's nice to have the original too. But Omnivore sounds so much better.
I really enjoy the demo on every song. I've listened to that 2 or 3 times, and then I'll go back and I'll listen to the finished. And there is, you do feel the comparison, but she knew what she was doing. You're absolutely right. And she did write for them, and it made for just some beautiful music, and 17 songs, and they're all so different.
Absolutely. And that was one of the things that really took me by surprise. You know, as I was listening to this reissue, I just had this moment where I go, wow, you know, the variety in styling and arrangement, I really enjoyed. And there was a moment where during this week, I was re-listening to the reissue, and I said to myself, Kim Shattuck was a badass with a guitar. And I go, but man, what an amazing pop songwriter.
You know, did you
know, and that's the thing, is like, you would see her with this super, to me, it was like artistically intense, because she was, you know, Roy said it, she was the front person,
right? And
she let you know it. And she wrote these beautiful songs. And that's why My Awful Dream becomes this, it tells a very different story to me. And I said, man, this girl could write a pop song brilliantly.
Do you guys get the Cheap Trick influence on some of these songs?
I could definitely hear it.
Yeah. The Beatles, Cheap Trick, all that pop magic was on this record. And I know she wasn't a big fan of the later Beatles, but she loved the young, you know, the early Beatles. And it comes out on these chord arrangements and vocal changes and everything. Just, great album.
Yeah, and I hear like a lot of like late 50s, even early 60s pop melodies, and some of the, I mean, influences there. And then she just like brought power to it. Like she takes that and like this is the 90s. Like I'm gonna take that pop sensibilities and just like put some balls behind it.
Right.
Literally.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I really liked what Roy said when he said, you know, she was writing for us as a trio. She knew how we would play, and we would read each other's minds at one point. It's that synergy. And, you know, just listening to Roy and Ronnie talk about, you know, some of their adventures as a band and some of their experiences recording, you go, it's good to hear that a band can do these sort of things. And the fact that Kim had this space to create, you know, she had the recording material at her home. And so she had time to explore what she wanted the sound to be. And so it's like, we get this really different band in this album. And I like this period of the band, but I'm with Ronnie and Roy saying this is an album that does not get as much attention as it should.
Right.
And I'm really, really glad that we have this reissue.
Yeah.
And all those demos.
Yeah. And it shows the difference between the band and then when she was with the Pixies, between a family and business, because they gelled so well together after being together for so long. And then for her to go off and be with another band And for whatever reason that it didn't work out, some of us may never know the real ins and outs of it. They didn't have that same family feel, just like Roy was talking about with her doing the selfie on the phone and dead silence in the car. That's just tells you, okay, this wasn't the right mixture at that time.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So for our listeners who may or may not know Frank Dragotto, please go check out JFJ Conspiracy. Him and two of his high school buddies, Jerry and Jim, do some pretty cool interviews, look back at some old classic albums, and they're always digging up new bands to listen to. And besides that, they're just a lot of fun to watch. I've seen every single episode. Frank, how long have you guys been doing that?
We're going on 3 years now.
3 years, yeah. And then also we mentioned Club Barnett. That
yes,
we talked to Ronnie on. Frank heads that up, edits that, so definitely check that out too.
Yeah, but let's mention that for the next couple of episodes of the JFJ Conspiracy Podcast, Jeff's going to be sitting in for Jim, who's working graveyard shift and has to take a little break. So we are so excited and to bring a different flavor to our show. Excited to have you for the next couple episodes.
I'm very excited too. And the only reason I qualified is because my name started with a J. So
absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So
don't get any other ideas.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cannot wait. Frank, this has been a thrill to have you on
as
a guest host. And what a great episode.
Yes,
that was a lot of fun.
Ronnie and Roy.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Awesome album. So Frank, we'll do this again. Don't worry. We've got this Muffs documentary and other things.
We need to get some money together and get Jeff a camera. Is what we need to do.
Yeah, I'd like to film this.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right. I think we've got work to do.
Yes.
So, Frank, thanks so much.
Thank you. Goodbye, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, Jeff.
That was too much fun.
I wrote so many notes, but I wanted to share one. Hold on. Let me just find it. It was I just had it too. And I said, oh, this is what I want. Well, you know that you can edit this out, but
yes.
Oh God. I just had it. Okay, well, I'll just go back to, first of all, this was, I think, really, really, I'm trying not to use the really, really happy, but
I know
this was such a great conversation about an album that just, I think it continues to grow on me the more I listen to it. And I'm seriously so amazed at what Kim Shattuck wrote. And what was it that they said that she wrote a song? Was it the song was used for the Canadian Milk Council?
I think
or
so.
It was
written for that.
And I said, okay, so what is it that she could not do?
Right.
Great songs. She played like a beast.
Performance, singing.
She
produced.
Really the complete package as a musician, as an artist. And the three of them together, because we know the Muffs go through this transition from 4 to 2, from 4 to 3, and but it's this trio that there's something really, really extraordinary about these three together. And and then for them, for Roy to say, we would read each other's minds at one point and go, because she knew them well, they knew her well. And that's why I found it funny, they would kind of just play off of one another consistently. Yeah. And they had, Ronnie said, we would kick songs out of the list, the playlist at the last minute. Roy would get mad and, kind of start, giving us the business from behind the kit. And then they would just, pick up again, or, Roy saying, well, I need a break at some point. And then, she'd either pay attention to her or not. But there was always that collective goal, love, care, friendship, you name it, whatever you want to call it, that really kept them tight as a unit. And, when Roy said, when we would talk about it, okay, well, I have this opportunity with Rick. Like, yeah, go. I have this opportunity with the Pixies. Freaking, yeah, go do it. And they could always come back together. I think that's what really solidifies for me how important not only was this band for fans, but for each other, and they could come back, revisit, and come back together.
Yeah. I mean, they're inseparable. Like, I think it just such an emotional attachment to one another. And even with the fact that Ronnie and Kim dated at the beginning, and then they didn't, but they were so connected just as people, like as human beings. And they're just incredible together. So they were more than a pop band, more than a punk pop band, what have you. I mean, they were really a family. And Soraya, you and I had the pleasure, I don't know if that's the right word, of visiting Kim's resting spot with Ronnie.
Definitely an honor. It was an honor to visit that.
And an honor. Thank you. And it was neat to learn that this was near that location. I had no idea where this shot was taken at. And Ronnie mentions the fact that it's not the greatest album cover, but you can see like their personalities in here with Kim. Just
and then show the back. And then you have and with this reissue, I think we get a little more of the story.
Yes,
especially because of these included tracks. And hats off to Omnivore for taking on this project and really giving us something really valuable, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And Jeff, when you mentioned, you asked a question and then they reiterated that it's this core fan base that despite their breaks would follow them, would go to these shows. So, because as they were talking about it, I wrote down, this fan base really sustained them and continues to do it.
To this day, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. So it's just good to see a band that's really enjoyed by its fans and continuing to enjoy, even though there's no new recording. But we've got these reissues, and it sounds like there are other things that are still there, because when I read this LA Weekly article, I'll read you the quote really quickly. Roy was quoted as saying, "The last record that we released, No Holiday, we used some of the demos or half-finished songs that we'd never finished up," McDonald says. So there's not much left. I think what was left is what ends up on this record. I don't think there's much left out there. I don't think Kim had any hidden tapes, but maybe, end quote. And that's why I asked that question, because you almost don't want it. You almost don't want the tracks to stop coming.
Right.
But it sounds like there's still more, just different. Roy had mentioned live tracks and that there's some footage that was shot kind of thinking about some sort of film or documentary. So I think we still have more of the story to explore. And I'm grateful that Roy and Ronnie are willing to continue to explore it and share it with the fans. So
absolutely.
This was a lot of fun.
That was so much fun.
This was a lot of fun. And I'm so happy that we had Roy McDonald, that we had Ronnie Barnett, that we had Frank Dragotto. and us. And yeah,
it was
good day.
And we're probably going to take a little break after this episode, maybe for a couple of weeks. But you do a little bit of traveling, and I got some work to do around the house. This room is going to be destroyed. All these records are going to end up in the hallway. Redo this floor, but we're going to take a little break, but we'll be back as soon as we can.
Absolutely. So everyone stay safe, stay well. We'll be back soon. So mi gente, a grubear.
Groove on, pace the people.
What a couple of assholes.